The morning started off just like any other in my quiet little cul-de-sac. Birds chirping, sprinklers hissing. Neighbors doing that awkward wave where you're pretending to be friendly but secretly hoping no one stops to talk. You know the vibe. I was on my porch with a cup of coffee, enjoying the peace until she showed up. Karen. And yes, I mean Karen in every sense of the word. Short bob haircut so stiff it could probably deflect bullets, oversized sunglasses, a Starbucks in one hand and of course a clipboard in the other. She wasn't out for a stroll. Oh no! She was doing her usual HOA patrol, the self-appointed sheriff of shrubbery, ruler of recycling bins, an eternal enemy of mailbox paint that isn't just the right shade of HOA-approved eggshell. And for some reason, Karen had always had it out for me. Ever since I moved into years ago, she found joy in dropping off those friendly reminder letters to many weeds, trash bins visible from the curb. Once, she even flagged me because my mailbox was off-white instead of eggshell. I wish I was joking, but that morning, I had bigger things on my mind. Just the day before, I'd walked out of a courtroom with a victory. A long-standing property line dispute with my back neighbor had finally been settled, and yes, I'd won. But the judge added a condition. I had to post court-ordered notices along the disputed property edge until the county survey crew could come out and mark the line. The judge even handed me the official notices himself. Bright neon orange and blue stickers with big bold letters. Notice of pending survey, do not remove. Clear as day, legal as it gets. So that night, like the responsible citizen I am, I walked my property line and carefully stuck every last one of those notices to the fence posts. Fast forward to the next morning and there's Karen. She made a beeline straight to the fence, zeroed in on the bright orange sticker like it was a crime scene, and dripped it right off. I almost dropped my coffee. I rushed across the yard, heart pounding. "Hey!" I shouted. Karen froze halfway to the next sticker, the first one already crumpled in her French manicured fingers. "What are you doing?" She turned with this smug little smirk. "These things are an eyesore," she sniffed, like that explained everything. "They're in direct violation of Section 3(2), one of the HOA's community aesthetic standards." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "That's a court-ordered notice," I told her. She laughed. "Oh, sure," she said. "You can't just slap ugly stickers on your fence and claim it's from a court. We have standards." Here, I pulled out my phone and found the photo of the judge's signed order. I held it out for her to see. She barely glanced at it and waved it off. "I don't care what that says. This is private property, and you agreed to abide by the HOA charter when you moved in. No stickers, no signs, especially nothing neon." That's when I knew we were past HOA rules. This was personal. "Karen," I said slowly, "you don't outrank a judge. The HOA doesn't outrank a judge. If you peel off one more, you're tampering with a legal notice." She crossed her arms, unmoved. "We have our own bylaws. Maybe you don't belong here if you can't follow them." So I hit record on my phone and aimed it straight at her. "Say that again while you tear down a court-ordered notice," I said. "Let's see how the judge feels about that." And just like that, her hand froze. She dropped the sticker, took a small step back, and muttered something about community spirit before stomping off like a villain in a low-budget soap opera. By the time the next HOA board meeting came around, word had spread fast. Neighbors were whispering. People were watching me walk into the clubhouse with my folder of documents, like I was bringing down a mob boss. Karen was already seated at the head of the long plastic table, surrounded by her usual crew, two overly enthusiastic board members, and one guy who looked like he'd rather be fishing. She gave me this smug, satisfied smile, like she'd already won. Then she stood up and dramatically announced, "We have an urgent matter regarding Lot 14. Yep, that's me. She passed around a stack of photos clearly taken after our little sticker standoff and began her speech. "These garish notices completely deface our harmonious community aesthetic," she declared. I personally removed one, but was met with hostility. I moved that we fine Lot 14 until the eyesores are gone. I let her finish. Then I stood up. I think you'll want to see this before you vote. I passed out copies of the judge's order to every board member. This is a legal directive. Removing these notices could put you in contempt of court. The room got real quiet. One woman adjusted her glasses and actually read the document. The guy at the end raised an eyebrow at Karen. Karen tried to push back. Well, yes, but the aesthetic doesn't outrank a judge, I interrupted. Unless you're volunteering to pay court fines, I suggest you reconsider. Karen's face turned pale. No one seconded her motion. I sat down victorious for now. Just when I thought things had cooled off. BAM, Saturday morning. Knock. At the door, a sheriff's deputy. Are you the owner of Lot 14? Yes, he handed me a folded document. You've been served. Karen had filed a small claims lawsuit through the HOA, citing unauthorized signage and demanding over $1,500 in fines. My jaw hit the floor. The deputy just shrugged. Just doing my job. I called my attorney. She read through the complaint and actually laughed. Oh, she's really stepped in it this time, she said. We'll countersue for harassment. Keep every screenshot, every video. We're going to bury her. The day of the hearing, I walked into that courtroom ready for battle, binder in hand, video queued up, receipts ready. Karen walked in like she was heading to a tea party. Pearl's clipboard, the whole package. But when the judge asked her for evidence, all she had were a few blurry photos of the fence and some HOA bylaws. I handed over the court order, surveyor, communications, and the video of her physically removing the sticker while telling me the HOA overruled the court. The judge didn't even blink. Ma'am, he said, these notices were issued under my order. Removing them may be considered contempt of court. The defendant is not in violation. In fact, you owe him an apology. Karen's jaw dropped. The judge dismissed the HOA's claim and granted my motion to recover legal fees. Walking out of that courtroom, I felt like I'd just won a heavyweight title. Karen, she gave me a look that could have melted steel, but she didn't say a word. And just like that, her clipboard crusade came to a halt. At least for now. So what do you think? Was Karen just misinformed? Or was this straight-up HOA harassment? Let me know in the comments, and if you've ever had to deal with a nightmare, neighbor or out of control, HOA. I want to hear your story. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this showdown. And don't forget to subscribe for more insane true stories from the suburban battlefield. Until next time, stay smart, stay petty, and always keep the receipts. I watched the judge's expression morph from neutral to disappointed dad face. He flipped through my documents, paused, looked up. Ma'am, he said, turning to Karen. These notices were issued under my order. Removing them may be considered contempt of court. The defendant is not in violation of any regulation. In fact, here it comes. You owe him an apology. Boom! It was like a legal mic drop. Karen's mouth opened like she was about to argue, but nothing came out. She looked like someone had just told her she couldn't return a sweater from 2014. Disbelief. Her eyes darted around, scanning for backup. But there was none. The courtroom was silent. Even the air felt heavy. The judge continued, I'm dismissing the HOA's claim with prejudice. I'm also granting the defendant's motion to recover legal fees, and I'm ordering a cease and desist against the plaintiff for any further harassment. Lawyer, who hadn't said a word the entire time, slowly leaned toward her and whispered something. Probably don't make it worse. She sat down, rigid, defeated. Walking out of that courtroom, I felt like I had just won the Super Bowl. Of petty suburban legal battles, my attorney patted me on the back. That, she said, is how you handle a clipboard, Karen. Karen followed us out a minute later. No words, no smug smile. Just a look of withering, furious glare that could have melted titanium. But the clipboard, now limp at her side, no longer a weapon, just a prop. Since then, she's been quiet. No more early morning leaf blower diplomacy. No more anonymous complaints about my grass height. No more subtle sidewalk standoffs. But I'm not naive. Karens don't disappear. They retreat. They regroup. They reread the HOA bylaws like they're sacred scrolls and wait for their moment to rise again. And I'll be ready, with binders, with time, with receipts. Always. Was this just a case of someone getting in over their head? Or was Karen fully convinced she was above the law? Was she misinformed or just power drunk on HOA titles and decorative fonts? Have you ever dealt with an out of control HOA, a power-tripping neighbor, or someone who thought the cul-de-sac was a monarchy and they were the crown? Drop your story in the comments. I want to hear it all messy, petty, dramatic, outrageous. This channel is a safe space for the suburban warriors. Let's build a digital HOA of our own, except ours actually makes sense. And hi, if you found this story satisfying. If you cheered when the judge shut it down. If you've ever been wronged by someone who thought enforcing rules gave them the right to harass, smash that like button. It fuels the algorithm. It helps the channel. And more importantly, make sure future Karens know that we come prepared. Subscribe for more jaw-dropping true stories, courtroom chaos, and suburban madness. I've got tales coming your way. That'll make your HOA horror look like a bedtime story. Until next time, stay smart, stay petty, and always keep the receipts. Have you ever found yourself trapped in a battle of wills with a power-hungry HOA board? The kind of board where the president acts like they were elected to Congress and not just handed a clipboard at a potluck. Maybe you've crossed paths with that one neighbor you know, the one who somehow thinks being able to spot a non-regulation porch light from 300 feet away is a talent worth ruining friendships over. Maybe they've got a laser pointer aimed at your recycling bin every Tuesday morning. Maybe they keep a spreadsheet of your holiday decorations and write anonymous complaints about your Halloween skeleton being too expressive. I'm talking about the suburban tyrants, the cul-de-sac kings, the self-appointed sidewalk sheriffs. People who act like a leaf on your lawn is a crime against humanity, who threaten citations over seasonal wreaths, who genuinely believe that architectural harmony means everyone's soul should be beige, boxed, and boring. If you've ever dealt with that level of nonsense, this space is for you. Drop your stories in the comments. I want them all. Give me the petty, the dramatic, the outrageous. Was it a birdbath bust-up, a mailbox color scandal, a lawn gnome standoff that escalated into a neighborhood-wide Cold War? This is a safe space for the suburban survivors, the folks who've been dragged to hearings for unauthorized wind chimes or non-compliant mulch. The driveway rebels, the flamingo freedom fighters, the people who just want to park their car without it being a political statement. If this story made you feel seen, if you cheered when the judge called out the nonsense, if you've ever been told you violated a decorative shutter clause and nearly blacked out from disbelief, hit that like button. It fuels the algorithm. It helps the channel. And, most importantly, sends a very clear message to future Karens, Kevins, and clipboard-wielding tyrants. We will not be bullied. Subscribe if you want more courtroom chaos, small-town soap operas, and justice served piping hot with a side of petty. I've got upcoming stories that'll make this case look like a minor misunderstanding at a garden club. We're talking trash can wars, snow shoveling stings, mail theft mysteries, and community pool drama so wild it deserves its own Netflix docuseries. Oh, and did I mention the Christmas lights lawsuit? Yup, someone really tried to sue over twinkling LEDs. Welcome to suburbia, where peace and quiet go to die, and every fence is a battlefield. We're building a digital HOA here, except this one actually protects your rights. This one doesn't fine you for the color of your doormat or for flying a flag slightly outside regulation dimensions. So, until next time, and always keep the receipts, keep the screenshots, keep the texts, keep the emails, because when the cul-de-sac goes courtroom, You don't want to be empty-handed. You want to walk in with facts, flair, and the full petty timeline. And remember, in the world of HOA drama, justice isn't just blind. Meanie. She's armed with a Ring camera, an archive of complaint letters, and a passive-aggressive sign that says, HOA free since 2023. Good luck out there, warriors. I see you, I salute you, and I'll be right here, waiting to tell your story next. 'Cause revenge is sweet, but vindication with views, even sweeter.